City this morning for a public safety forum. Coming up, what's on the agenda as they plan to turn local concerns into action.
President Trump telling the nation the war in Iran will last for at least 2 more weeks.
We're going to hit them extremely hard.
Why an end to the conflict won't ease prices here at home right away.
Love it or hate it, reality TV can suck all of us in.
We will have the everyday impact that kind of obsession can have on your mind. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
All right, it's that time where things are really starting to get busy. Want to let you know about this. This is I-85 northbound lanes right at Main Street just before McAdenville. That's going to be exit 22. There's a crash there. The left lane is closed. There is a bit more of a delay there on I-85 than there typically would be if there wasn't an accident. Another thing right here, Sharon View Road and Colony Road, an accident just happened there at that intersection not too long ago. Just seeing minor delays. And finally, I-40 westbound is closed. This is right near the Burke County, McDowell County, the county lines right there. It's involving a tractor trailer. They are diverting traffic to get around it, so you can get around it. It's just going to be slow moving, and that portion of I-40 right there is going to be blocked until further notice.
Alas, the cool down is about to begin. Still feeling like early June, but then I actually feel like more March again, even though it's April. The weather's been wacky, y'all. 84 degrees, lower 80s, and then eventually you can see the transition back to the lower 70s overall. A cloudy Easter. There is a little bit of hope for a couple of dry spots to start off the morning, but then rain should take over as we get closer and closer to the afternoon. And then you can see that cooler transition in the 60s and even some lows turn the 40s. But no freezing temperatures on the horizon.
Thank goodness.
Hey.
I'm told the Easter Bunny has both galoshes and an umbrella.
Good, good.
So that's
Good information.
Right?
Good to
Right.
know.
Can't blame them. Join us 7 a.m. over on WCNC Plus streaming. Streaming live at 7 a.m. on a Thursday morning here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off this half hour with the check of that WCNC weather impact forecast. Chris says it's feeling more like summer.
Oh, it feels great out there, right? Now, temperatures in the lower 60s, and I just think back to last week where we had one day that didn't even get to 60 degrees. So you can thank our lucky stars that we have that. Now, all in all, it is going to be a mostly sunny to a partly cloudy sky, but we are looking at a little deck of clouds that move just in, and you're going to see that on and off throughout the day. We've really had a changing sky over the last 3 days that each hour looks different. So if you were to do a time lapse, you almost have all 10 cloud types, I feel, that are starting to move through. Only exception is that we only had cumulonimbus, aka thunderstorms, up in the mountains yesterday, and even saw some hail. I'll show you that here in a little bit. 84 degrees for a high today. The record, 86 degrees. And our temperature is going to range anywhere from the upper 70s to the mid 80s across the board for this afternoon. Winds occasionally gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Should be a pretty decent day. If you loved yesterday, you're going to love today. Look off towards the west. We got this low pressure system attached to a warm front and a cold front. Eventually, we're going to have a big bad cold front associated with this roll through for Easter Sunday. We're just going to be waiting a little bit. But here's what I was talking about. Yesterday, starting in the afternoon, boom, you had a big burst of showers and storms, but it was primarily over Watauga County. We had one that produced this. That is a big old shovel of some solid hail. So this is above pea-size hail. This is almost getting to around dime to nickel size within here. This is sent in by Andrea. It says deep gap hail. But then also Douglas personally messaged me showing this more pea to not quite penny, but I think dime size hail is going to categorize this as well. So some areas saw a little bit more, but it was a solid little hail core that came with the storm system. And you got to note that it's this time of the year, especially because they're higher up towards the clouds. A little bit cooler. It's all about the freezing level, and April and May are prime time for storms to potentially produce hail just like this. So really any isolated storm we're going to have on your Friday and Saturday could be a hail maker. Nothing that's severe, nothing that's problematic, except for you to be like, oh no, I'm getting pelted with hail. So that is going to be a possibility over the next couple of days. Nothing severe though. Again, I really want to make that a point. I do see some developing what's called fair weather cumulus clouds. You saw these yesterday. Oftentimes they can have a flat bottom. These can grow in the vertical and form a thunderstorm. I don't think we have that, but we will start to populate these during the middle of this afternoon. It's tomorrow morning. You have your next chance for rain. It's very isolated at first. You're seeing a few of these starting to develop across the area. We'll get a little bit cloudier as well. So we could have a quick burst of rain. Chance of those thunderstorms also jog into the afternoon. And we're keeping this active pattern heading into your Saturday as well. We're going to see this on and off heading into the afternoon. And then we wait for our big next wet weather chance. And that's going to be right here on Sunday, Easter Sunday, primarily right around the late morning heading into early afternoon. That's where I think most of the rain is going to cross. So there is a slight sliver of hope that if you time it out right, you might be able to avoid the rain, at least you live around the Charlotte area and areas east, before it starts to take over for the day. I think it's going to be overall a cloudier one and a cooler one. Temperatures only moving 6 degrees through the day, starting 65, end game at 71, and then really the 60s to around 70 degrees for highs through most of next week before we start to see a warm up heading into the following weekend. As far as our lows are concerned, we hit our chilliest one on Wednesday morning back to the lower 40s. That's about 20 degrees cooler than what we have right now. Okay, that's going to wrap up that weather report. Let's get over to Majestic, who saw some developing situations to end the 6 o'clock hour.
We do have some active problems out there on the roads. It's just before 7:05 this morning, so let's get to it. Really, we see the biggest concerns between 7 and 9 o'clock in the morning, so thanks for joining us right here on the stream. You see this purple here? That's indicating that this part of I-40 is closed right now. This is near the Burke County line and McDowell County line, and it does involve a tractor trailer. This will be westbound lanes. With that being said, we have emergency responders. They're on scene and they're helping drivers divert off of I-40 to get through this and then back onto it. So there is an alternate route, but it is going to be messy. This is a picture that we received from Burke County EMS. This is the tractor trailer involved in the accident. You can see this is going to be on I-40 westbound. This part of it is completely shut down. We are learning that the tractor trailer, it was carrying milk. So milk is all over this part of I-40 at this time. Again, there's a live camera. Look, live picture that was just sent to us not too long ago. We'll have another update on a couple of other incidents that I'm watching for you coming up soon. Ben.
Well, this morning, one person is dead, another seriously hurt after a shooting in Gastonia. We've got video from the scene overnight. It happened at an apartment complex over on Hine Way. That's just off East Hudson Boulevard. We're working to learn more about that surviving victim. At last check, we don't have any update on their condition. So far, police have not made any arrests. 7:05 right now on WCNC Plus. Silfab Solar back in the hot seat this morning, slapped with a lawsuit. A Rock Hill company claiming thousands in unpaid work.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us live this morning from Rock Hill with a breakdown of this lawsuit and what it could mean for the company that's already under fire. Richard.
Yeah, Lisa, good morning to you. Good morning, Ben. Good Thursday morning, folks watching us on the Plus. Basically, we're back in York County, back in front of Silfab. But this is not people who want the company to move out or shut down productions. It's another company locally that wants Silfab Solar to pay up. Now, that company's taking legal actions against Silfab Solar over unpaid work. Rock Hill Industrial Piping and Fabrication says it did piping work at Silfab's Fort Mill facility starting in September of 2025. The company says it sent 2 invoices totaling nearly $79,000. But as of yet, it hasn't been paid, even after multiple requests. In the lawsuit, the company claims Silfab broke its contract, failed to pay a clear debt, and benefited from the work without paying for it. This all comes as Silfab has already faced controversy here in York County. Residents have raised safety concerns for years about the plant's location near homes and a nearby school, and recent chemical spills have led some officials, as well as residents, to call for the facility to shut down completely. Now Rock Hill Industrial Piping is asking for the full amount, plus interest and the legal costs. Now, Silfab, for its part, has 30 days to respond. If not, a judge could rule in favor of the company automatically. Of course, this is something that we're going to be looking into, and when whatever happens, we'll let you know every step of the way. Right now, we're in York County. This is Richard Devane. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Richard, thanks for that. A home explosion in Catawba County is now an active criminal investigation.
Authorities say 2 people, including the 91-year-old homeowner, were seriously injured after the home was destroyed on Shook Road, just north of Claremont. Investigators say there are clues suggesting explosive materials may have been inside, prompting that criminal investigation. Neighbors describe the blast.
About 100 sticks of dynamite at one time. That's what it sounded like to me, and it shook me off of the couch.
Other neighbors didn't want to go on camera, but told us they believe explosives may have played a role. Also in Catawba County, deputies investigating a drowning at Bruce Meisner Park in Hickory. We're told emergency crews arrived on the scene just before 7 p.m. Wednesday. Investigators say a 7-year-old boy was discovered in a body of water next to the park. He was taken to the hospital where he died. This remains an active investigation. Right now, an urgent search is underway for 2 missing women here in Charlotte. Take a look at your screen. The first one, CMPD says 74-year-old Ruby Singleton. She was last seen leaving her home on Colebrook Road, that's in East Charlotte, Wednesday afternoon. She's believed to be driving a silver Nissan Sentra, a license plate number of PSZ 8921. The second case, officers searching for 79-year-old Suzanne Konisberg. She was last seen on Ballantyne Glen Way in South Charlotte. She's believed to be driving a black Mercedes-Benz, license plate BKL 9033. The 2 cases unrelated, but both women have cognitive impairments and could be lost or confused. So if you have any information where they could be, maybe you've spotted them, call police immediately.
North Carolina's state auditor says that he will oversee how $650 million is being used for upgrades at Bank of America Stadium. The auditor says he will work with the city and Tepper Sports and Entertainment to give the public regular updates on the project. Renovations are expected to be completed by the 2029 NFL season.
Starting today, expect a surge in spring break travelers at Charlotte Douglas. The airport expects more than 1.6 million travelers between today and April 12th. That includes a big jump in local passengers, which is up about 8% from last year. The airport recommends travelers arrive 2 hours early for domestic flights and 3 hours early for international flights.
We watched the Artemis II rocket launch last night. Up next, a live look from NASA and hear what the astronauts are up to this morning and the toilet troubleshooting they had to deal with as they head to deep space. The time is now 7:12. In a primetime address to the nation on the war with Iran, President Trump said most of the U.S. military goals have been met, but that strikes will intensify over the next 2 to 3 weeks to finish the job. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
President pointing to progress toward destroying Iran's Navy, Air Force, and missile program.
These actions will cripple Iran military, crush their ability to support terrorist proxies, and deny them the ability to build a nuclear bomb.
But he made clear it's not over yet.
We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Stocks slid and oil prices surged on word of more intense strikes and no concrete end date to the war that's upended the global energy supply and sent U.S. gas prices soaring over $4 a gallon on average. President Trump claimed after the fighting ends, prices would drop and the vital energy route, the Strait of Hormuz, would open up naturally, while also urging other countries to step in to
take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it.
Critics saying the president didn't do enough to lay out the path forward, as a recent Reuters Ipsos poll shows just 35% of Americans surveyed approve of the war, 60% disapprove.
We are not indicating how exactly we're going to end this. We're spending exorbitant amounts of money.
13 American service members have been killed. President Trump mourned their loss and said the U.S. must press ahead to honor their sacrifice. President Trump has said his administration is negotiating with new Iranian regime leaders he considers more reasonable, but warned in his speech if there is no deal, the U.S. will target every one of Iran's electric generating plants in the latest threat to civilian infrastructure. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
NATO's Secretary General will meet with President Trump in Washington next week after the president hinted the U.S. might leave NATO. President Trump pointing to alliance members being hesitant to send forces to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, though some European leaders are defending their decision to stay out of the conflict. Any U.S. withdrawal from NATO would need congressional approval.
Today, Senate Republicans will introduce a two-track approach to reopen the Department of Homeland Security. Details still limited, but one part will fund DHS, while House Speaker Mike Johnson says they will pursue a second Trump mega bill that would secure more immigration funding later. It remains unclear when a vote could happen. Both a state and federal judge are delaying the trials for Luigi Mangione. He's the man accused of killing the United Healthcare CEO. The federal trial now set to start in October. His New York state trial will be in September. Mangione's lawyers originally asked to postpone so as not to overlap too much, but the new delays pushed the two trials even closer than before. NASA's long-awaited Artemis II mission now making its way through orbit. It's a live look right now at NASA's 24/7 visualization of the Orion spacecraft, moving at about 4,000 miles an hour. As we speak, the four astronauts inside taking a nap, although they are expected to wake up any moment now to adjust their orbit and then go back to sleep for a little bit longer. Overnight, they had to deal with a faulty toilet, but luckily, it's back to normal operation.
Thank goodness. Of course, we will continue to monitor the mission as we have been since liftoff around 6:30 yesterday evening. We were following that here on WCNC Plus. This historic mission will mark the first time astronauts will return to the moon's vicinity in more than 50 years. The mission does not include a moon landing. It's designed as a step toward a landing in 2028 and eventually toward NASA's goal of establishing a long-term presence on the moon and building a base there. Just before receiving the all clear, all members of the crew signed off. Then officials delivered a powerful message. Listen in.
All right, Charlie, your Artemis II crew is go for launch. Full send.
I copy that. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. On this historic mission, you take with you the heart of this Artemis team, the daring spirit of the American people and our partners across the globe, and the hopes and dreams of a new generation. Good luck. Godspeed, Artemis II. Let's go.
Meanwhile, a former NC State advisor to Artemis II crew member Christina Koch now reflecting on her career path. Stephen Reynolds was her advisor when she was a student at the school. He's overjoyed with what she's accomplished.
She said she was committed to a career in space. And I thought, yeah, well, that's nice. I mean, every parent's child wants to be an astronaut. So, you know, you pat them on the head and say, yeah, you go, girl. Well, she went. So it's been a trip ever since following her career.
Reynolds last spoke to her while she was in orbit on the International Space Station a few years ago. Again, we followed all of it as it happened right here streaming on WCNC Plus.
Well, we're taking a live look right now. This is I-85 near Little Rock. Majestica's going to have an update on your traffic when we return, including that tractor-trailer accident that happened in Burke County, I-40 westbound shutdown. She'll have the latest on that when we come back.
Well, good morning, everyone. So this is an enhanced satellite imagery that I have here. So those little outlines that you're seeing right there are some of those thicker clouds that are starting to roll in. And if you look really closely here, I'm going to stop frame. See over here near Wadesboro, you're seeing a few of these pop up. Here's what they look like. This is our Lowellsville camera. So you're going to have some decks of clouds move in. It's not going to be a terrible day overall. Just going to be seeing some passing clouds from time to time. And today is actually going to be much, much warmer than the rest of the next 10-day forecast. We got this little W going on here. Yesterday hit 86, so that was the warmest day of the week. Today is going to be a close second, lower 80s, and then eventually we see a big downfall, either the lower 70s or the mid to the upper 60s from Sunday to Wednesday before we start to see a nice little comeback. Thursday can be thrown in that range as well. But as you can see, we're right back to around 80 degrees by day 10 and 11 of April. So that officially would be next Friday and Saturday. But what about our lows? We see a cool down. We're like, oh no, back to freezing. We got to protect our plants. Nope. Whenever you have temperatures in the lower 40s, it's not even a concern for frost, even if you have the perfect conditions. It's really the upper 30s that we start hitting that frost threshold. Now, some of us in the foothills and the mountains, you're going to be deeper into the 30s, especially on Wednesday morning, so you might have some problems there, but things are still trending in a warmer direction, especially considering that our average high is 69 and our lows are going to be in the lower to the mid 60s over the next 3 days. So a little bit of a cool down, but not too bad. And our precipitation chances, nothing to worry about today. Tomorrow we have an isolated shower or storm. Same thing, almost isolated to scattered possibilities for your Saturday. That has been added. I saw a lot less activity yesterday on our Futurecast. Now it's starting to build a little bit. I still think that most hours of the day are going to be dry. And then Sunday is the big old question mark. And then regardless, behind there, you're seeing those rain chances take a big break. And here on WCNC Plus, I'll have an update on the drought monitor when that's released in about an hour or so. But let's get right over to Majestic, who has quite the problem starting to brew this morning.
I want to take you out to I-40 westbound lanes right now, completely blocked because a tractor trailer got into an accident. It was carrying milk, and so now there's milk all over I-40, and emergency responders are there on scene trying to clear all of this. This is right between Burke County line and McDowell County line, heading westbound, and yes, involving that tractor trailer. Police officers are there diverting traffic to get around it, taking exit 94 off of I-40. Bottom line, it is not a good situation. Here's a picture that we received from Burke County EMS. Again, I-40 westbound shut down right now because of that ongoing problem. Another thing to mention, I-85, we had an accident this morning that now has turned into a stalled vehicle. It's I-85 northbound at Main Street, right as you're approaching McAdenville. So allow for a little extra drive time if you take I-85 inbound. New crash here at Shopton Road, just south of Wildlife Road. I am still seeing a lot of green with it. And then finally, Sharon View Road at Colony Road. There's a crash there right at the intersection, but they are clearing it, so I'm not seeing any big delays with that. That's what I'm watching for you right now. We'll have another check on the roads all coming up here soon. Guys.
With NASA's Artemis II mission reigniting public interest in space exploration, the debate over whether aliens exist is trending again.
Some enthusiasts point to UFO sightings and declassified government files as proof, while skeptics argue there's no solid evidence. The Area 51 controversy a few years ago brought the discussion to the spotlight as thousands joked about storming the secretive Nevada base to uncover extraterrestrial secrets. Scientists are still studying strange sightings, but clear answers, though, are hard to find.
So the question this morning, do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
You do?
I'm not sure if I believe that they visited our planet, but mathematically speaking, it's impossible that there isn't some sort of intelligent life out in the universe.
So you're saying it doesn't necessarily have to look like E.T.
No.
Yeah.
Or Alf from the 1980s sitcom, but
yeah, because there's billions upon trillions of planets
could be an
in
organism.
the universe.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't believe that they visited our planet, but I do believe in aliens and extraterrestrials.
Gotcha.
I think that's okay.
I don't think that they're green, though. I'll say that much. Like how we envision them to be.
Right.
I think that there's a lot that we haven't discovered yet.
Purple.
That's kind of the fun of science.
I mean, because they could be an organism underneath a rock on the surface of Mars, and that's
a planet of crabs.
And some
but
things
that,
we
that
just
leads
aren't meant
to
know.
something else. You know,
Yeah.
that could lead. I got you. That's fair.
So.
All right, 7:25 now. We're going to take a quick break. Keep it right here. Aren't you glad you're streaming on WCNC Plus? I mean, where else are you going to get this kind of conversation, right?
Maybe you are, maybe you aren't.
You're not. Only here. Only here.
It depends.
A live look at Uptown right now. Temperatures are getting back into the 80s again today. We'll be right back. Hello there, 63 degrees, a little bit warmer than yesterday. Now our highs are going to be very close to a record as we get to the mid to late afternoon. And beautiful blue skies right now through our Dallas camera. However, we do have some clouds drifting in from place to place, as you can see over here around Charlotte Motor Speedway. 84 for a high today. That's 2 degrees cooler than yesterday, but hey, close enough. 82 in Lancaster and then right around 73 in Boone. So our lows heading into tomorrow morning, it's going to be another mild one, dropping to the lower 60s and then the mid 60s even for your Saturday and Sunday, but then a big drop behind a cold front. That cold front is going to bring rain. It just depends if this is going to be more of an afternoon event or more of a morning event. Things right now splitting the difference. Should be around midday most of the rain arrives, so you might be able to get in that Easter egg hunt much cooler heading into next week, though. Majestic, some big happenings in your world.
Oh, it is busy out there for Thursday morning. We're following all these accidents for you over on WCNC Plus until 9 o'clock this morning, but I need to let you know, I-40 westbound is shut down right now between Burke County line and McDowell County line. They are trying to divert traffic off of I-40 by taking exit 94, but it's because of a tractor trailer that crashed this morning. It was carrying milk, so there's currently milk all over I-40 westbound.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson.
This morning, investigators are still working to determine a motive in a deadly shooting in northwest Charlotte. It happened yesterday morning on Florentine Way, just off Morris Chapel. Police tell us this was not a random shooting, and everyone involved has been identified, though they did not share the names of any suspects. The mezzanine community where it happened is less than a year old. Neighbors we spoke with say they are shocked something like this happened in their neighborhood.
I was just walking my dog past their house last night and saw their dogs outside. So whatever happened, I pray for the victim, but it's very unfortunate, but I don't know. It's just a quiet neighborhood.
Police encourage anyone who has information in this case to contact Crime Stoppers. A 15-year-old girl is fighting for her life after a shooting in West Charlotte. We brought you this as breaking news yesterday. A police report shows a teenage boy shot that girl in the chest. It happened Tuesday night on Carlisle Drive, just up Allegheny Street. Authorities have not named the teen. Happening today, folks in University City fighting back against crime.
Community leaders, police, and neighbors meeting to tackle public safety. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards now live with what neighbors hope comes out of this discussion. Destiny?
Yeah, it's community leaders, first responders, and neighbors all coming together in just less than 2 hours for a public safety forum. And the focus will really be on finding solutions to safety concerns in a growing area of Charlotte. Now, University City Partners is hosting this. Again, it's a public safety forum from 9 to 11 a.m. here at the Mecklin Hotel. Officials from CMPD, the Charlotte Fire Department, and code enforcement will share updates, then join community members for a panel discussion and small group conversations. Topics include crime trends, the unhoused population, food insecurity, and overall conditions across University City. Opening remarks are also expected from City Council members Renee Perkins Johnson and Dante Anderson, along with Congresswoman Alma Adams. And organizers say as University City continues to grow, they believe these kind of conversations around public safety are really important. They also say they believe it takes more than just law enforcement, but business owners, community stakeholders, all coming together to make sure University City is a safe place to work and to play. And the goal really is to turn these conversations into real action, including creating future possible safety initiatives in the area. But for now, live in University City, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
The daughter of former Charlotte City Councilwoman Tijuana Brown pleaded guilty in a federal fraud case. Court records show between April 2020 and September 2021, Tehima Brown worked with her mom and sister to fraudulently obtain COVID-19 relief funds. Prosecutors say the group submitted multiple loan applications using fake tax documents and claiming employees that never existed. They obtained more than $124,000. The charges could bring up to 20 years in prison.
A man who killed a Charlotte baby will spend the rest of his life behind bars. 26-year-old Zachy Davis was sentenced to life in prison for the death of 7-month-old Israel Williams. This happened in December of 2021. Davis was dating the child's mother at the time. Investigators say that child was found unresponsive with extensive head injuries. Davis was found guilty of first-degree murder. The man accused of killing a Cotswold mother in 1990 in a cold case will be back in court today. Marion Gales, a longtime person of interest in the case, was charged with first-degree murder of Kim Thomas Freeland back in February. Cutting-edge tools allowed investigators to link Gales to DNA evidence found at Thomas Freeland's home. Gales is set to appear in court in about 2 hours at 9:30 this morning. Chris?
All right, let's get right to it. Today is going to be a beautiful day, and I can prove it to you. Check this out. Dallas looking great. Lots of blue sky. We do see a little bit of light haze off into the distance. And today is also going to be a day that will have an occasional gust up to 20 miles per hour, passing clouds. But all in all, I think it's going to be an average of a mostly sunny to a partly cloudy sky. Lower 60s. This looking good. 84 degrees. 2 degrees within the record and 2 degrees cooler than what we had yesterday. So it's a near record day, and 69 degrees is where we should be. So a 15-degree bump above the norm. But here's what our skies are looking like. Seeing some passing clouds, a lot more blue than you're seeing some of those variety of either fair weather cumulus clouds. Mainly these are some of those upper level to mid-level clouds. 84 degrees for a high. across Mecklenburg County, and then mainly hovering anywhere from the upper 70s to the lower 80s most of the afternoon. It's going to be a good one, a little bit on the humid side, but still not too bad. Not officially like overly humid, but you start to notice a little bit more moisture in the air, so it does create a slight heat index during the middle of the afternoon. You see some quick bursts of green, but that's picking up on those cotton ball-like clouds across the sky. Sometimes I like to call them Toy Story clouds, because it almost looks like the beginning of the movie Toy Story. And then heading into tomorrow, we have more clouds that'll be with us, but then also an increased chance for rain. We're seeing some developing showers here as early as the middle of the morning. Passing showers should be more of a kind of intermittent event, and then the same thing goes heading in the afternoon, especially down towards the southeast, and then we flip the script off towards the west. Heading into tomorrow, same thing goes. Chance for a few scattered showers and a developing storm. That'll jog into the afternoon with a lot more activity the further west that you go. That's all ahead of our next big wet weather system. Here it is. You're seeing that rain arrive really anywhere between about mid to late morning. And if this is the case in scenario, that means that you want to get the Easter egg hunt done earlier, because you're starting to see that rain really start to take over. And I think once we get the main line to push through, you're going to have a few hours to several hours of rain, depending on how this plays out. And then the backside of this will eventually clear. So there's still a big question where this is going to line up. But now we've had 2 days in a row that at least it shows the late morning to the early afternoon, most of the rain will fall. And our extended forecast has the only spike up to a numerous to widespread chance for rain this Sunday, your Easter Sunday. After that, we're heading into more of a drier pattern. As you can see, a better chance to stay dry than actually seeing any rain. That was our temperature graphic. That was also showing an above average temperature trend as well. And where our lows are going to go over the coming days, going to be still in the lower to the mid 50s over the next 3 mornings, but then the 40s start to take over, which is a little bit more appropriate for the first part of April. So today is the top. Yesterday was the official top, and we're slowly getting cooler each day all the way through the weekend heading into next week. Most of next week will either be in the lower 70s or the mid to the upper 60s, and most mornings waking up in the 40s, which is a big difference from 63 that we have right now this morning to 43 degrees on Wednesday morning. Okay, so there's a lot of things happening, including one really unique spill that Majestic's going to be talking about here momentarily.
I want to show you a picture of it. This is what we got in. It's a tractor trailer. It's going to be on I-40 westbound out near Burke County if you're heading west of that. It's a tractor trailer right there that got in an accident. It was carrying milk, so there's milk all over I-40 right now. This part of I-40 is shut down, but they do have an alternate route for you to get through that. I want to take you back a little closer to Uptown, give you some updates on what's going on a little closer here. This is I-77 mile marker 5 out near Tyvola. This is basically spot on. It's starting to get busy now that we're just after 7:30. New accident here. It's going to be at Shopton Road West of Wildlife Road. There you go. Just a little bit of an ongoing incident there at that intersection. Another one here. This is going to be north of Uptown at Lawton Road. Still saying mainly green with it, but this is going to be the most important thing. I-45, the northeastern half of it. Right now, this is the outer loop as you're approaching I-85 there. So really exits 30. If you take that, we do have a bit of a delay on I-85, the outer loop there. We'll give you another update coming up in just a few minutes, but those are a few important things for you to know as of now. Guys.
Up next, kids turning to AI for emotional support, but experts warn it can't replace real therapy. We're going to break down the risks and why parents need to stay involved. 7:41 right now. March Madness continues tomorrow night, and the last Carolina team left standing will take the court on the women's side. South Carolina will face a tough test in its 6th straight trip to the Final Four. The top-seeded UConn Huskies trying to keep their perfect season alive. Tip-off down in Phoenix set for 7 p.m. A new study from UNC Chapel Hill reveals students are using their phones during the school day, even though a new state law says they're not supposed to.
As WCNC Charlotte Siobhan Riley explains, the findings comes shortly after the Protecting Students in a Digital Age law started this year.
That new study reveals only 60% of students said they always follow their school's device policy. 37% reported that their school enforces it, but only sometimes. People we spoke to said that's a major concern. Almost everywhere you look, you will see students on their cell phones, and that habit is trickling down into the classroom.
There's just a myriad of reasons of why technology, social media, all of that, not only at school but away from school, can be really detrimental to mental health, your ability to connect with your life, people around you, nature, be happy.
People we spoke to were shocked to learn about the new UNC research that's raising questions about how well school cell phone bans are actually working.
I think they shouldn't have it. It's very much a distraction. I think so, because they're more keyed into that phone and knowing what's going on that than what they're actually being taught.
The study surveyed nearly 2,300 middle school students and nearly 300 teachers across 22 schools in 6 regions of North Carolina. Leah Jarrell fears students are relying on their cell phones too often.
I think it's too bad. I think there's not enough regulation or understanding how this is affecting kids' brains.
This comes after the Protecting Students in a Digital Age law that went into effect. It requires all public school boards to adopt strict bans on smartphone use during instructional time.
I think definitely it could be a public health concern.
Dr. Caitlin Burnell, who's the director of research at UNC Chapel Hill's Winston Center on Technology, said in a statement, young people's digital technology use represents a major public health concern. There's growing alarm about the negative effects of such use, especially in education context. In West Charlotte, Siobhan Riley, WCNC Charlotte.
Artificial intelligence is becoming a go-to source of advice for kids and teens, especially when they feel alone. Experts warn that while AI may sound supportive, it was never designed to replace real mental health care. More children are turning to AI for emotional support, and that comes with risks.
And we have to remember, overarching all of this, these were not designed to be therapeutic, because this is not like a confidential relationship with a therapist or something where it will be kept secret.
While AI can provide instant validation and answers, that support is limited. Researchers stress it cannot replace trained professionals, and parents should talk with their children early to balance privacy with safety. As AI continues to grow, understanding its limits and the difference between digital guidance and real therapy has never been more important. All right, check this out. An Iowa school district has found a new way to interest young readers.
It comes in the form of a free vending machine. Students can now take home books for free thanks to a special book vending machine set up by the school's community foundation. 5th graders got the first chance to use it, picking up books with tokens from their librarian. The machine includes books for every grade. The district hopes to expand it next year so every student can enjoy a new book. How about that?
That's so neat.
Very cool.
Right?
I don't understand the vending machine component. Why not just...
I mean, maybe that makes it more appealing to them. I don't know, the reward of seeing it fall out of the machine.
Sure.
And it's your book.
Why not?
All right, live pictures now over Uptown, 7:45 on this Thursday morning. When we come back, Chris will have the latest on your weather impact forecast.
Perhaps you've heard of the term some people use, I believe it's sun's out, buns out. Well, one South Carolina man taking it literal, he was arrested for what some see as a serious charge, indecent exposure. But here's the thing, he was sunbathing alone, naked, in his own backyard, and some folks say he should be okay doing that.
Reporter Peyton Furtado spoke with the man at his home and takes a look at the law that led to his arrest.
Privacy or public indecency, it's a fine line.
Laying out in the sun, even in the nude, there's nothing wrong with it.
John Sullivan is a tad overdressed today. Normally, he works out and sunbathes in his backyard and Fountain Inn in a thong or naked and unafraid.
When a male lays out in the sun, in the nude, his testosterone levels go up about 400 times.
After an accident, he says his doctor recommended exercising and getting outdoors. He was arrested in his backyard March 13th, charged with indecent exposure.
It's a statute that actually carries some teeth. This particular statute, indecent exposure, carries up to 3 years and could land you on the sex offender registry.
Attorney Beatty Ashmore has represented a case like this before. He laid bare South Carolina's law.
You're free to do what you care to do on your property, to include sunbathing in the nude. The problem comes in if the general public can see you. And so then the question becomes, are they going out of their way to view you? Have you taken preventative measures to keep others, the public driving by and or neighbors from seeing you?
It's definitely impressive.
And at about 8 feet tall, this side of John's fence is impressive.
This side, however, not as much.
Have you ever considered building a more solid fence over here so that no one can see you through that fence?
I considered everything under the sun at any time, but this right here is $12,000.
We tried to talk to neighbors with no success. The deputy who arrested Sullivan wrote in his report he could clearly see Sullivan naked through the fence.
I think people look over here at a beautiful buff bull of an alpha male living a wonderful life from a car garage with a porch built on it, and they see something they want to destroy. Just like everybody else that sees beautiful people doing beautiful things with a beautiful life.
The case now to be decided in a court of law this May.
He might see himself, and I'm sure he does,
in a very positive light.
Beautiful, buff alpha male. Mm-hmm. His neighbors might feel differently.
They might see that as problematic, because you can definitely see through that side of the fence.
It's very obvious.
Yeah. And if you have kids,
definitely
other issues.
If he was in the middle of nowhere,
don't need to see.
Yeah. If he was in the middle of nowhere,
go for it. I say more power to him.
But yeah, neighbors don't need to be seeing all that.
When you live that close and you only have one really good privacy fence,
yeah,
but the other side not so good. It's I can see the problem.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
Chris, what say you?
I don't know. I'm still stuck on the big, beautiful, buff male, and again, that's great. And wonderful beard as well. I just want to know if there was a warning shot before, like, hey, neighbor, don't do that. Maybe like kind of 3 strikes and you're out. But
yeah,
anyways,
before it escalated to law enforcement.
Exactly.
Sure. That's
so no matter clothed or not, here's your backyard forecast. Whatever you're going to do in your fenced-in yard. Hopefully you have some low visibility if you're going to go one direction. We have no rain chances today. We have the 70s right around lunchtime, and the afternoon is going to be in the 80s, low to the mid 80s today, and then the evening hours still looking to be mainly in the 70s. So again, whatever you're going to do in your backyard. Our Dallas camera looking great right now. Lots of sunshine. Our moon set officially was at 7:09. Moonrise is going to be at 8:38. I mentioned that because officially it was full last night. It was gorgeous through the overnight hours. Now, officially, it is no longer full. It is called the waning gibbous. It's wax on, wane off. When you're coming off a full moon, it is officially waning. And then, of course, once it gets to a little sliver, or some people refer to as God's thumbnail, then it's over to the crescent. But I digress. Let's get over to Anson County, where you're starting to see more of these cumulus clouds, almost stratocumulus, off towards the east. And we're not going to have what we had yesterday, which was an interesting setup, that there was a decent amount of hail up in the mountains. Instead, we are going to have more of just a sun and clouds type of day. You are going to see some green blips pop up here on a futurecast. Oftentimes when it's that brief, it's picking up on the development of vertically growing clouds, and that's exactly how thunderstorms form. So We might be close, might see a darker cloud saying, oh, that one looks interesting, but I don't think we're going to quite get there. And still, all in all, sunshine is going to dominate for today. By tomorrow, though, a much better chance for some developing showers and storms. You're starting to see some activity become scattered across the morning, heading into the afternoon. This is a tough forecast. I don't love these just because I can't say, hey, rain's in at this point, it's out at this point. I'm just letting you know, if you live from Charlotte to the southeast tomorrow, anything goes. You can have a isolated scattered shower through the morning and the afternoon. And then we flip it kind of from Charlotte to the northwest for your Saturday, seeing some passing showers or so. And then we really wait for Sunday, that it's a much better chance for that activity to roll on in. So check it out. By the way, I've been hiding Easter eggs on WCNC Charlotte. That's the one I hid today in the green. This one was sneaky, but look at all this rain. This is 11 a.m. There is a chance, and things are trending this way, that the early morning, when many people may be going to church, it's going to be dry. So if you have any Easter egg plans or Easter egg hunt plans, do it in the middle of the morning before the rain arrives. There's still a chance it could be here, but as of right now, things are trending that it's late morning, heading into early afternoon, that we're going to have that Easter rain. So keep that in mind. Our long range forecast is heading in a downward direction after today. This is the top. Lower 80s change to the lower 70s, and then mainly the upper 60s to lower 70s most of next week. Our lows getting much chillier. Instead of starting in the 60s, we're mainly starting in the 40s most mornings next week, Monday through Friday. Okay, let's get back over to Majestic, who definitely has more of an active report than the weather right now.
We have a lot of different things going on. I want to talk about something new, though. This is going to take you into York County, I-77 here. We have an accident with stop-and-go traffic. This is I-77 southbound at Palmetto Parkway, so that's exit 81, and we are seeing some of those delays through 82C. So you can see southbound lanes really highly impacted by that. Here's one of our cameras. Right now it seems like it's frozen, but I'll tell you what, most of those lanes are having a really hard time moving because of that ongoing crash. So if you take I-77 southbound out near Fort Mill, you're heading southbound, you will have stop and go traffic at this time. I-485, this is another crash. It's the northeast half of it. It's the outer loop as you're approaching I-85. We're seeing some of those impacts backed up to North Tryon Street, so make sure you're planning accordingly. I'm not seeing stop and go with that one, but maybe just a few extra minutes as they're trying to clear it. A new crash here at Freedom Drive and Bradford Drive, right there at the intersection of that, bringing some minor delays there as well. So bottom line, the most important thing right now is I-77 heading southbound in York County. You currently have stop and go traffic. Guys.
Majestic things, 7:55 now. We're going to take a quick break. We'll make sure that you keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Well, good morning, everybody. We have some clouds streaking across the skies, but I think it's going to be a delightful day. Still, plenty of those Carolina blues are going to be joining us. 63 degrees right now. That's a good start. Winds out of the south are going to stay out of the south, so that's going to drive temperatures back up into the 80s where we want them to be. And you can expect the lower 80s through the middle of the afternoon. I actually have a high of 84 degrees today. I think you see a lot more sunshine to end the day, so it'll be perfect for an evening walk, say if that's going to be your jam for today. Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast. This is the top, and then you see a slow downgrade in temperatures each and every day. Lower 80s tomorrow. We have an isolated rain chance for your Friday, more so on your Saturday, but it will rain on your Easter Sunday. Just letting you know.
Could be a little bit of a dry spot in the morning, but just watch the forecast carefully because at some point it will rain for several hours, much cooler into next week. All right, Majestic, what do people need to know this morning?
Oh, we have a lot of accidents that we're following for you this morning. You can follow us over on WCNC Plus until 9 o'clock. I'll be giving you all the latest details. I-77, we have an issue. This is out near Catawba River. This will be in York County heading southbound where an accident was just reported. We have stop and go traffic there, really starting at Palmetto Parkway and then backing up a couple of extra miles.
Streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off this half hour with the check of that WCNC weather impact forecast. Another day with temperatures getting into the 80s, Chris.
Yeah, and near a record. Check this out. 84 is our forecast high today. 86 is the record high for today. Now, each day is subjective because there are some records here in April that are well into the lower 90s. Meanwhile, others are a little bit more intermediate, only in the mid 80s, and that's exactly what we have today. So we're going to be very close. Yesterday we had 86 degrees. I think we have a little more cloud cover than what we had yesterday. So I would temper expectations for a record. Not saying that you wanted to go for that, but it's a beautiful day. You don't need perfect blue skies to have an enjoyable one. I actually love when you have this because sometimes it can be a break from that sun that makes you feel up to 10 degrees warmer. 82 degrees for a high over in Hickory and then 73 over in Boone. And I think you see a lot more sunshine by the end of the day, on and off wind gusts up to about 20 miles per hour all in all. So we're keeping an eye on some rain chances, but I want to start off with numero uno, the big one. This is 7 a.m. on Sunday, but then once you get to about 11 o'clock, we're seeing the main branch starting to move through. Now, I would really kind of give or take the way this is looking. I just want people to know if you have any plans, because a lot of you maybe have Easter Sunday, spending it outside with the dog, the kids, or just yourselves in general. I know personally I brought up dogs because my dog Romeo loves to hunt for eggs that have dog biscuits in them. And then JT, of course, loves it as well. There's a little bit of a window of opportunity that you might be able to squeeze those in, but this is going to be really a small window because once this rain rolls in, it could last for actually several hours for the day. So just keep that in mind, that you are going to have that passing rain through the, I would say, late morning heading into the early afternoon for your Easter Sunday. Now, once you get a little bit further along, I think by the middle of the afternoon, You're starting to see that rain push its way off towards the east. Oftentimes, the long-range models don't really handle the passage of these fronts too well, so I don't think it's going to be an all-day event. It just still could rain for a few to several hours. Meanwhile, starting off with the nearest threat for rain, we have nothing for today, just mix of cloud and sunshine. At times, you might have a darker cloud or two, but then we start to shift over to more of an active pattern, a little extra moisture, feeling a little bit stickier for your Friday, with an on and off shower, maybe even a developing thunderstorm heading into the afternoon. And if you look off towards the west this time, we do the same thing for your Saturday. Seeing some scattered showers, eventually jogging into the afternoon, but nothing that's super widespread that's going to ruin the day. You just need to note if you're going to be outside, there could be a quick downpour here and there. Our 7-day forecast shows that this is the top. Yesterday was the technical top of 86 degrees, 2 degrees cooler for today, but still fantastic. Feeling like the first day of June compared to the second day of April. Lower 80s change over to the lower 70s. Regardless of when the rain arrives, I don't think you have a lot of sunshine for your Sunday. Maybe a little bit initially, but not a lot of sunshine. And then the back end, we're going to dry out and clear out. High right around 70 degrees on Tuesday. And then after that, mainly the 60s and the 40s for our highs and lows. All right, let's get back over to Majestic, who has a much more interesting setup than what I have in the weather category.
And not in the best of ways. I think many people are excited for your forecast compared to what I have coming when we're looking at traffic. Let's get straight to it. Good Thursday morning, everyone. Want to let you know this part of I-40 westbound, it's completely shut down. Right now, it's between Burt County line and McDowell County line. It is involving a tractor trailer. We know emergency responders have arrived there. Some police officers are diverting traffic from I-40 to get off at exit 94. This is a reason why. This is early this morning. A tractor trailer got in an accident. It was carrying milk, so now there's milk all over I-40, and that part of it remains closed. Meanwhile, here's I-77 out near Arrowwood, where traffic is just running slow. This is the norm. Just after 8 o'clock this morning, heading inbound from areas towards uptown. Do want to let you know in York County, we're following this still. It's I-77, our newest crash, southbound lanes being impacted right there around exit 81. I'll tell you what, though, just a few minutes ago, we had stop and go traffic. It was completely red, but at this point, I'm seeing a lot of yellow, meaning that we're seeing some improvements there. Important to know, I-77 southbound in York County, that's where it is currently. That's a check on traffic. We'll have another look coming up here shortly. Guys.
Silfab Solar back in the hot seat this morning, slapped with a lawsuit. A Rock Hill company claiming thousands in unpaid work.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us live this morning from Rock Hill to break down this lawsuit and what it could mean for the company that's already under fire. Richard.
Yeah, good morning to you, Lisa. Good morning, Ben. Good Thursday morning, folks on the Plus. Basically, normally when I'm here at Silfab, I'm talking about the fact that there are residents who want this solar manufacturing company to leave or shut down. Today, another company locally here wants Silfab to pay up. Now, that company is taking legal action against Silfab. The company's called Rock Hill Industrial Piping and Fabrication. It says it did piping work at Silfab's Fort Mill facility starting in September of last year. The company says it sent 2 invoices totaling nearly $79,000 to Silfab, but as of yet hasn't been paid, even after multiple requests. Now, in that lawsuit, the company claims Silfab broke its contract, failed to pay a clear debt, and benefited from the work without paying for it. Now, all this comes as Silfab has faced controversy in the community. Residents have raised safety concerns for years about the plant's location near homes and schools, and a couple recent chemical issues have led some officials and neighbors to call for the facility to shut down. Now, Rock Hill Industrial Piping is asking for the full amount, plus any interest and legal costs. Of course, Silfab has 30 days to respond. If they don't, a judge could just say they have to pay those fines, that total amount of nearly $79,000. We'll keep you posted. We're right here in York County. This is Richard Devane. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Richard, thanks so much for that. Well, President Trump, of course, addressed the nation last night on the war in Iran, declaring it a massive success. The president reiterating his claims that the war will be over shortly.
Joining us this morning, Dr. Michael Bitzer, political science professor over at Catawba College, joining us with some new insight, new polling about how folks here in North Carolina are feeling about the handling of this war. We should say this was taken before the speech last night, of course. But in a new Catawba YouGov poll, Mr. Trump's approval rating is down 42%, with 55 down to 42% with 55% disapproval. That's the widest gap you guys have seen in the last year. Do we know why?
Well, I think it is very much fitting into the classic midterm election environment. We know that the midterms are oftentimes driven by the approval or disapproval of the president, and usually voters have buyer's remorse from the presidential election. They go into the midterm and they say, you know what, I'm just not happy with the party in power, and that means that it's the president's party. And so I think that that gap outside of the margin of error really does show over the past year how North Carolina has been trending. It's very similar to the national dynamics. We're not as against the president as it is nationally, but these numbers do show some kind of unhappiness amongst the voters.
So let's talk specifically now about this conflict in Iran. Airstrikes are one thing, right? But when you talk about ground troops, that's very different. We know that North Carolina has a number of military bases, and its voters are opposed to having those troops on the ground there in Iran. In fact, your poll found that 58% against that, only 18% in support. Why the big difference?
Well, I think certainly the case has not been made. I mean, we're a month into this military conflict. The president has articulated a number of reasons, but when it comes to actual boots on the ground, I think North Carolinians really do feel that that is a step that needs to be justified. You know, the launching of military weapons, the missiles, all of that is kind of in the abstract. When you start to see boots on the ground, and in particularly when casualties start to come out of it, I think that that's the reason for that 40-point gap. And in fact, among Republicans, if you look at that chart, they are very much also against it, but it's very close. Democrats and independents, they tend to follow the same dynamic, very much opposed to it, but it's almost evenly split among Republicans.
How much of this do you think is the actual war itself, or the fact that you touched on there's not a clear plan, or it appears there's been several plans? Because, I mean, you found that only 36% said that the president has set out a clear plan, while a third said he has no plan at all.
None at all. And so I think that this is part of the messaging campaign. I think White Houses, when they go into a major conflict with another nation on the military basis, they need to have a clear objective and a clear rationale. And I don't think that that has necessarily been painted. You'll see, you know, among Democrats and particularly independents, they are saying that the president doesn't have a clear plan. Not surprisingly, Republicans are saying he does have a clear plan. So there is this deep partisan division and divide within North Carolina. I think it reflects national dynamics as well.
So there is the ongoing conflict in Iran, but there are still other wars happening across the world. Something interesting of note here, that North Carolina seemed more supportive of helping Ukraine than Israel.
Yeah.
So what do you think is drawing the distinction there?
That was really a fascinating finding out of this survey. I think certainly Ukraine is still in the news. It's still prevalent. It has been the longest conflict that we've seen now, but there's still a good deal of support for the Ukrainian efforts, both financially and militarily. When it comes to Israel, it's a little bit less. And the division is, you know, again, within the partisan camps. Both sides are looking at this very intently, but a lot of it is driven by the president as well.
When you take all these numbers together, when you talk about the president's approval rating, the skepticism about the war in Iran, and soft numbers for both parties, I mean, what message do you think North Carolina voters are trying to send to folks up on Capitol Hill?
Well, I think certainly for the party in power, they are saying you need to revisit what you're doing and make it clear to us back here in North Carolina what the purpose of this war is, what the dynamics are going to be, and also potentially recognize the economic situation that it's presenting as well. I think that a lot of Republicans are going to be confronting a fairly stiff headwind come November. And if you're laying the groundwork now, 6 months out, that's going to present a real challenge as you go into the true fall campaign.
So we're talking about the midterms. We're, getting toward that. But do you think that this reaction is just temporary because of this moment in foreign policy right now, or is this something that has more deeper meaning?
I think if the war with Iran continues on for the next several weeks, if not months, this is really going to harden public opinion in North Carolina, I think nationally, and it's really not going to be to the benefit of Republicans moving forward. I think that they have to look at the president to say, you need to come up with an exit strategy at some point that makes sense, that doesn't seem like capitulation, but still make the effort on economics, because foreign policy may drive a lot of economic dynamics, but ultimately at the ballot box, it's the presidential approval and what people think about the economy that drives a lot of voters' decision making.
I was going to say things like gas prices, what I'm saying for groceries, are the reasons that many people say they're going to vote.
Exactly.
All right.
Let's talk about the Supreme Court, because they heard oral arguments yesterday when it comes to birthright citizenship. For years, you have heard conservatives like, I think, Antonin Scalia, Clarence Thomas, Alito on the court right now, make arguments for what they call strict constructionist. I'm not a legal scholar by any means, but the idea that the words are there in the document. You don't interpret it.
Right.
The case I heard yesterday among some conservatives is, in this case, there should be some interpretation, because what they meant back then is not what they mean now. Do I sense a difference now?
Well,
it seems to be different.
It seems to be different, and the words do matter. In the 14th Amendment, it says all persons.
Right.
It does not differentiate whether you are born one way or the other in this regard. But what we have also found, particularly here in North Carolina, this issue of birthright citizenship is the most divisive principle of American democracy between Democrats and Republicans. Republicans do not believe that if you are born on American soil, you necessarily automatically get citizenship endowed upon you. Democrats and independents say yes, that citizenship is there because of the language in the Constitution. So I think, whatever the Supreme Court comes up with, I listened to some of the arguments. It sounded like the conservatives were very skeptical of some of the legal theories and bases that the government was presenting to say, are we going to overturn past precedent? Are we going to overturn 100 years worth of jurisprudence on this particular issue? We'll just have to wait and see what the opinion holds.
And I think we have to say that the Constitution does not say that this was specifically for the children of freed slaves.
Right.
That is not in the Constitution.
Right.
And also talk about the president being there. That's just the first time for a sitting president to hear these oral arguments. What do you make of that? We
are in a presidential administration and term that has broken so many norms of American democracy and American government. I wasn't surprised by that, but it is notable to see the chief executive visiting the high court, hearing the arguments made on behalf of his administration, and then getting up and walking out before the opposition had their chance to present as well. Whether it was an intimidation factor, whether he was just interested in it, I don't know.
Professor, we always appreciate your insights.
My
and
pleasure.
your new polling as well.
Thank you.
Keep us posted.
Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
Right. More WCNC Plus after this.
time is now 8:17. New video and audio provided by an attorney show the moments the South Carolina couple says they were wrongfully held by gunpoint by law enforcement, all while their children were in their truck. Reporter Derek Rush explains what reportedly led to that traffic stop and how it still impacts the family nearly a year later.
They pulled in a trailer. It's a white trailer by a black Dodge Dually. I like to stay out of it because, I mean, they're coming up by my house. I got 2 kids, and I don't want nobody messing with my youngins.
A 911 call telling dispatch a dually truck with a U-Haul was seen driving with stolen dirt bikes on Highway 527 in Sumter County. Then this happens.
Open the door and get out! Face away from me, walk back!
Troopers with guns drawn on Kertrez Rush and his wife Jasmine Scott on the side of the highway with their daughter Caitlin, catching it all on her phone along with dash cam from the trooper's car.
They were yelling with their guns drawn on us, and I started recording. I was scared on that day because I didn't know if my parents were going to be shot and killed.
That's what the call came out as. So as I'm coming down 378, I see a black Dodge Dually with a U-Haul trailer matching identical description, okay? Obviously, there's no dirt, I mean, cool. There's obviously nothing in there, right? But the reason why the traffic cop is done how it is for officer safety.
But the same call indicates the information was secondhand, and the caller couldn't even confirm a tag.
Okay, what's the license plate on that Dodge truck?
I can't get that close to it.
Now the family suing for unconstitutional seizure and excessive force.
And Officer Lyman makes this stop based solely on that information. No independent police work. You can't just go off of hunches or tips, especially in the days that we have today with swatting. People are losing their lives off of false calls and fake calls.
After a search of the trailer, the family says the trooper acknowledged there were no stolen items, but the family says by that point, the damage was done. Damage they are still processing a year later.
So this is what me and my family got to deal with every day. Every time I crank up my truck and my little boys get in, they ask me, Dad, please don't speed. Please put your seatbelt on. We don't want you to get pulled over and killed.
Welcome, everybody. Okay, we're going to talk allergies. So here are the top allergens. All trees: pine, oak, ash, mulberry, maple, birch. Trees at a high, and that's something that you can expect pretty much for the next few weeks at least. And the good news is a lot of people have been asking, when can I wash my car? Well, not yet. Probably for about another 3-4 weeks. It's just not advised because we're still going to see all yellow for at least the next couple of weeks. Usually the way it works is that's the pine pollen you're seeing, by the way. This is the week that things start to spike, and it's about 1 to 2 weeks after that you really have a lot more of that yellow is still generated, and then things start to taper off. So we're almost there. We're just not there yet. Also, for the first time in over a week, we have low weed count, and then we also have a little bit of trace of grass pollen, which is more of a June-like thing. And that spikes to about the moderate level there at a maximum. And our pollen forecast at a high to an extreme over the next 3 days, close to an 11 for your Thursday and Friday. And then the highest level, I think, where we have some windier conditions will be into the weekend, even with that rain chance. Here is the spike that we've had so far. Everything is measured in grains per meters cubed. And we actually hit our 4th highest level yesterday. Still a chance to reach its highest pinnacle over the next 7 days. So take that extra allergy medicine if need be. All right, let's get right over to Majestic for an update on our morning commute.
Let's do it. Good morning, everyone. Heading into a beautiful start to our Thursday morning. I-77 out there near Sanford looks all right. We have several ongoing accidents. Want to talk about our newest one. It's right here. It's I-77 northbound, right at Hambright Road. It's only for the toll lanes, though, but we are seeing some delays backed up to about I-485. So keep this in mind if you're heading that way. Otherwise, this is still on I-485, the northeastern half. It's the outer loop where a crash was reported right there towards exit 30. However, I'm still seeing a lot of green with it, so I think it was one of those situations where there was an accident, but they were able to quickly get it off over to the shoulder. Just pay attention as you're heading out. Finally, Sharon Amity Road and Providence Road, an accident was reported there with slow-moving conditions. Guys?
All right, Majestic, thanks so much. 8:25 now on this Thursday morning. A live look at Uptown. You can see the sun already shining there. Temperatures right now into the lower 60s. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back streaming live on WCNC Plus. Good morning, everybody. Today's going to be a great day. Lots and lots of sunshine going out and about. We still have some clouds here and there, so at times I think it'll be partly cloudy across our skies. Temperatures in the lower 60s right now at 8:26, and then highs in the lower to the mid 80s across the greater Charlotte area. It's going to be another delightful one, just like yesterday. Another warm start tomorrow, falling only into the low 60s, just like this morning. Mid 60s starting off both mornings on Saturday and Sunday, and much cooler, back to the 40s come Monday. So our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast, this is the top, y'all. And then we have the lower 80s, and eventually we see this big drop off. It's going to be an isolated to a scattered shower or storm chance starting tomorrow for your Friday. I think more so heading into the afternoon. And again on Saturday, Sunday, there's a line of rain that's going to move through. There might be a little bit of hope that we have a drier start to the day, but no matter what, it will rain at one point for your Easter Sunday. All right, Majestic, take it away. What do people need to know?
What a gorgeous start to the day. Good morning, everyone. We're following lots of ongoing accidents. This is a live camera look this morning of I-77 out near Westinghouse, where conditions here, they look okay. But remember, I'm over on WCNC Plus until 9 o'clock covering all of these for you. Here's one accident you'll want to know about before you head out the door. It's right here on I-77 northbound, impacting the toll lanes with impacts to I-485.
Thanks for joining us live on WCNC Plus. It's 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson.
This morning, investigators are working to determine a motive in a deadly shooting in northwest Charlotte. It happened yesterday morning on Florentine Way, just off Morris Chapel. Police tell us this was not a random shooting, and everyone involved has been identified, though they did not share the names of any suspects. The mezzanine community where it happened is less than a year old. Neighbors we spoke with say they are shocked something like this happened in their neighborhood.
I was just walking my dog past their house last night and saw their dogs outside. So whatever happened, I pray for the victim, but it's very unfortunate, but I don't know. It's just a quiet neighborhood.
Police encourage anyone who has information about this case to contact Crime Stoppers. A 15-year-old girl is fighting for her life after a shooting in West Charlotte. You might remember we brought you this as breaking news yesterday. A police report shows a teenage boy shot the girl in the chest. It happened late Tuesday night on Carlisle Drive, just off Allegheny Street. Authorities have not named the teen. Happening today, folks in University City fighting back against crime.
Community leaders, police, neighbors, all meeting to tackle public safety. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards now live with what neighbors hope come out of this discussion. Destiny?
Yeah, this public safety forum is getting underway in about 30 minutes. At 8:30 right now is when the networking part of the conversation is happening. So folks are driving in for that right now at the Mecklen Hotel. And the focus around these conversations is really going to be finding solutions to safety concerns in a growing part of the Charlotte area. Now, University City Partners is hosting this, and it officially starts at 9 a.m. and goes until 11 a.m. at the Mecklen Hotel. Officials from CMPD, the Charlotte Fire Department, and Code Enforcement will share updates, then join community members for a panel discussion and small group conversations. Topics include crime trends, the unhoused population, food insecurity, and overall conditions across University City. Opening remarks are also expected from City Council members Renee Perkins Johnson and Dante Anderson, along with Congresswoman Alma Adams. And organizers say that University City is continuing to grow, so they want more than just the police department to be part of the conversation, but business owners and members of the community as well. And the goal is really to turn these discussions into action and possibly implement future safety initiatives in the area. Live this morning in University City, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
The daughter of former Charlotte City Councilwoman Tijuana Brown pleaded guilty in a federal fraud case. Court records show between April 2020 and September 2021, Tehima Brown worked with her mom and sister to fraudulently obtain COVID-19 relief funds. Prosecutors say the group submitted multiple loan applications using fake tax documents and claiming employees that didn't exist. They obtained more than $124,000. The charges could bring up to 20 years in prison.
A man who killed a Charlotte baby will spend the rest of his life behind bars. 26-year-old Zachy Davis was sentenced to life in prison for the death of 7-month-old Israel Williams. This happened in December of 2021. Davis was dating the child's mother at the time. Investigators say that child was found unresponsive with extensive head injuries. Davis was found guilty of first-degree murder. The man accused of killing a Cotswold mother in 1990 in a cold case will be back in court today. Marion Gales, a longtime person of interest in the case, was charged with first-degree murder of Kim Thomas Friedland back in February. Cutting-edge tools allowed investigators to link Gales to DNA evidence found at Thomas Friedland's home. Gales is set to appear in court in about an hour at 9:30 this morning.
Now to Waxhaw, we're learning more about a drug bust. Police say 29-year-old Jaquavian Moore is in custody. He's facing fentanyl-related charges and accused of having a stolen car. Federal investigators and local police arrested him Wednesday morning. Moore now being held without bond. An investigation underway after several threats at the Cleveland County Courthouse. We're told the first happened just after 3 p.m. Wednesday. Police say they immediately secured the building, evacuated all the inmates, staff, everybody. They say somebody made a second call within an hour of that building being cleared. If you have any information in the case, you're asked to call the number there on your screen.
Well, good morning, everybody. Here's what's going on. We have some blue sky mixing in with some clouds, but all in all, it is a great day. As you can see, though, we do have a line of storms further off towards the west. Even a little bit of winter precipitation just north of this low pressure system over in Nebraska, where they could have like maybe a snow, a sleet, maybe even a little bit of snizzle, which is kind of like that really fine snow mixing in with drizzle to the north. And then as we are working our way through the next couple of days, this system is going to get closer and closer and closer to us. And eventually we're going to see a big bad cold front that's well off towards the west, eventually sliding to frame. We'll get to that here in one moment. But today, a high of 84 degrees. The record is 86 degrees for this day in climatology. All in all, I think it's going to be a mostly sunny to a partly cloudy day. Pretty decent one, and I think that we're avoiding the rain. But here's what the futurecast I'm talking about. Heading into your Sunday, you're going to see this branch of rain that starts to move through. That I think is going to impact really your late morning heading into the early afternoon for your Easter Sunday. This is how it's all going down over the near term, though. We have that one system that's just to our north. We're waiting on this other cold front that is actually now well positioned off towards our west. That's where it's going to create widespread rain, even some severe thunderstorms further off towards the west. And then it will draw a little bit close to us, and then eventually is going to completely shift our forecast going forward for the short term. And then for the long term, we are going to actually see a much cooler week heading through the middle of next week. Now let's talk about the nearest rain chance that you're going to see. This is mainly going to be for your Friday morning heading into the afternoon, and then we kind of adjust the range where we're going to see it by your Saturday. So tomorrow morning, I think that we're dry for your morning commute, but then right on the back end, we're starting to see some showers sneak in. So maybe even as early as 8 o'clock, you could have a light rain shower. These could push the limits of turning into some thunderstorms, especially down to the southeast by the middle of the afternoon. But it's not a guarantee. Not everyone's going to see these showers. That's why I only have a 20% chance for tomorrow. But hey, even that 20% chance could be a quick downpour. Saturday looks to be a little bit more of a western game. That's where we push in some more showers, scattered across the morning heading into the afternoon with a chance for a few heavier downpours within a few thunderstorms. We already saw what happened in Boone. They had a quick downpour from a thunderstorm that moved through yesterday afternoon that actually dumped a decent amount of hail, a lot of hail actually, where they were able to do a whole scoopful in their shovel. I'll show you those pictures the next time I'm talking about weather here in this half hour. But our Jerry Hand Supercenter 7-day forecast has this as the top over the next 7. 84, then lower 80s, lower 70s, so majority clouds, by the way, when it's going to rain for your Easter Sunday. Then mainly in the 60s to the lower 70s for highs. Dominating the 40s for our lows, though. We are in the lower 60s right now. It'll be 20 degrees cooler by Wednesday morning. All right, take it away, Majestic. What do people need to know this morning?
Let's take a look at I-77. This is going to be up near Gilead, where those inbound lanes are moving slow. Even southbound lanes or outbound lanes are also moving a little bit slow as well. I want to take you towards that area because we're following a crash here. This is going to be I-77 northbound at Hamright Road, but I'll let you know that we're seeing our typical congestion for this time of the area, for this time of the day, but this accident specifically is only impacting those toll lanes. So if you're somebody who takes the toll lanes, it's going to be slow moving there as well. Now, the second accident, it's on Highway 16. It's on the western side of Lake Norman there. We are seeing some delays that take it back to St. James Church Road. So those are two things that are happening north of Uptown. Sharon Amity Road, we're following two active crashes here. One at Sharon Amity Road northbound at Monroe Road, just happening a couple of minutes ago. This one's been ongoing for about 15, and we're really seeing those delays coming in there at Providence Road. So make sure you're planning accordingly and take it easy for your Thursday morning. Ben.
And as we had to break, here is an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey everybody, here at ShopTVDeals.com, we love to bring you products out there that are actually going to make your life better. Let's keep it real. All of us have our entire lives on the phone these days. All those videos, all those photos, all of those memories, and you don't want to lose it because of a lost phone or a storage issue. So check this out. A small but mighty device, the Click-Free Pro. It's so easy to use. Let me show you what to do. First, you download an app on the phone. Just takes a minute or two. Super easy. Then you connect the device to your phone. It has all kinds of adapters here, so no matter what you have, you should be good. You open that app, and literally, with one touch, you start backing up all of those photos, which is a big help for people like me, because I got 15,000 photos in this thing. Also, not just about storage here. Think about all those old photos in your home, whether it's in an album like this, or just photos in a shoebox somewhere. There's a scan function on this app as well. So you literally can take one of those old pictures, use the app, scan it, and you'll never lose that image again. This does so much. It's absolutely amazing. No membership fees, no subscriptions, so it's super easy and will save you a lot of problems. And on top of that, 50% off. We have an amazing deal. Normally this would cost you $200. Today you get it for less than $100. So scan that QR code at the bottom of your screen or check us out online at ShopTVDeals.com. Back up those photos now. Don't lose them.
Rapper Megan Thee Stallion is recovering after a health scare during a Broadway performance Tuesday night. She was rushed to the hospital after becoming ill while on stage in Moulin Rouge, the musical in New York. Doctors say she was dealing with exhaustion and dehydration, forcing her to step away from the show. Producers say that she will miss several performances as she recovers, but she is expected to return once she is feeling better. Rapper Nicki Minaj dealing with another security scare after a man was arrested for trespassing at her Southern California home. Authorities say the suspect was found on the property but was quickly taken into custody. Minaj was not home at the time. This comes as her home has been repeatedly targeted in recent years, including several swatting incidents where false emergency calls sent large police responses to the home. This latest case remains under investigation as concerns grow over the ongoing safety threats.
Artist Cardi B has scored a legal win. A federal judge dismissed a $50 million copyright infringement lawsuit tied to her song Enough. The case filed by two producers claimed the track copied their song and caused reputational harm. Cardi's legal team arguing the original song wasn't properly protected when the suit was filed. The plaintiff's attorney says they've now secured a federal copyright and are weighing next steps. Pop star Taylor Swift facing a new lawsuit over her album Life of a Showgirl. A Las Vegas performer claims the album's name and branding are too similar to her long-running Confessions of a Showgirl brand. The lawsuit argues the similarities could confuse fans and hurt her business, especially since both target similar audiences. She's now seeking to block Swift from using the name and asking for financial damages.
Well, love it or hate it, reality TV can suck you in. So why do we become so obsessed with these shows and the people in them?
Megan Bragg looks into the everyday impact behind that obsession.
From Summer House to The Bachelorette to Survivor and Love is Blind, the list goes on. And if you don't even watch these shows, I'm sure you've heard about them around the water cooler or on social media. But why do we get so invested in reality TV? There's actually a reason behind all this drama and madness.
This is not just another genre of TV that we can use to escape. And so it helps us envision what life would be like if we were in those situations.
Cleveland Clinic psychologist Dr. Shavana Child says this is just like eating your favorite food. Watching your favorite reality TV show can light up your brain's reward system. A study from Ohio State found people who enjoy reality TV often have stronger interest in status, competition, and social connection. There's also what's called a parasocial relationship, where viewers feel like they actually know the people on screen. Their vulnerability on screen makes them feel relatable and keeps us emotionally invested. And then there's that can't look away factor. Psychologists say when we watch real people in messy, dramatic situations, it can trigger a natural urge to compare our lives to theirs. Experts say that sometimes viewers may even feel a sense of superiority because the people on screen feel more relatable than traditional celebrities. So while you might think, I'd never do that, that might be the reason you keep coming back for more. Megan Bragg, WCNC Charlotte.
All right, since we were talking so much entertainment, that inspired this trivia question. So entertainment trivia. The artist Her uses an acronym as her stage name. What does HER Her stand for? Is it A, heartfelt expressive realization, B, having everything revealed, C, higher eternal rhythm, or D, harmony, emotion, reality? The answer coming up after the break.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. It's Thursday time for On This Day. By the way, today is Autism Awareness Day, celebrated every April 2nd. It focuses on autism spectrum disorders, promoting understanding, acceptance, and support for those with ASD, plus celebrating their unique talents and many achievements. Autism, by the way, affects 1 in 59 children. Today, Autism Awareness Day, and by the way, it's Autism Awareness Month. And for those with autism, it's every day that they think about that. That's On This Day. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
All right, it is trivia time. Since we talk so much entertainment, the artist Her uses an acronym for her stage name. What does Her stand for? A, heartfelt expressive realization. B, having everything revealed. C, higher eternal rhythm. Or D, harmony, emotion, reality. What do you two think?
I don't know. I'm going to guess D, harmony, emotion, reality.
I'm going to go with C.
It is actually having everything revealed.
Wow.
Huh. Well, and actually, I had no idea as well. I'm a big fan of Her and her music, but then having everything revealed, so it has a deeper meaning. And I'm glad that you guys guessed that, because I spent way too much time thinking of the wrong answers today.
Good.
Because,
happy to help you out.
That's
hey,
right.
I appreciate it. Do you know what? Because all these, I think, could apply as well. So that's what Her stands for. Again, having everything revealed. That even our own producer said that she saw her in concert, and I was like, oh, never even thought about it. I actually didn't think about it until today, as I wanted to do some entertainment question. I also want to show you this hail. This is quite the show yesterday. So this time of year, any thunderstorm, realistically, especially up in the mountains, could have a chance to produce something like this. Now, not every thunderstorm, but there's a good setup that you could have a hail maker, and it's especially May that's actually our most active hail melt for the severe hail. But this was a quick burst of hail where you have a full shovel sent in by Andrea Fleshman. This is deep gap hail, as she labeled it, in Watauga County, and also Boone had some smaller hail as well. This is up to about dime size hail, and you can see it covering the grass. Always awe whenever you have this. This is the best type of hail because it doesn't cause any damage, and the kids love to run out and grab a handful, and the adults and meteorologists like to run out and grab a handful as well. But it's a very small window and a very short hail season that we typically have here, so just keep that in mind. And I would not be surprised if we do have some hail makers maybe over the next couple of days, as we do have the right environment for that as well. Ideally, you want it to be super warm, that it's going to blast up a thunderstorm, but then you also want to have a cooler freezing level, and that's exactly what we had in place yesterday. And here are the storms that rolled through. It was only one that brought the hail that we were seeing yesterday. Now, yesterday was a delightful day, but today we're already starting to see a little bit more darkness to the clouds, so I think it will be a little bit cloudier than what we had yesterday, but we're not going to see any rain chances across the area, unlike what we saw up in the mountains yesterday. Instead, I think it's going to be more of a Friday and Saturday deal, that you start to see some intermittent showers that are working into the forecast. Sunday is still the wettest day. It's not going to be a washout for your Easter Sunday, but there's a sizable period of the day, especially right now, midday, that you could have some of that activity. So let's roll through our Futurecast one more time, one final time, with me at least here on WCNC+. You'll see it again here with Majestic in the Impact Studio here shortly. But then today, mainly just mixing in some clouds. Tomorrow, better environment, wind still blasting out of the south. I think it's a little bit stickier for tomorrow as well. You're going to notice that. You see some isolated to scattered showers and storms, mainly from Charlotte down to the southeast. And we flip the script to the west this time on Saturday. Same thing, morning and afternoon. Could have some scattered activity. Not a guarantee, but you could get nipped by a quick heavy downpour, so keep that in mind for your day-to-day plans over the next few. And then, again, widespread rain on Sunday. All right, one last look at our morning commute here on WCNC+, though, with Majestic.
I want to give you an update on I-40 westbound out near Burke County. If you're heading westbound, this has been the big story this morning. A tractor trailer carrying a whole lot of milk got in an accident this morning, and parts of I-40 was completely shut down. Right now, it's down to one lane, so you can actually drive through there, but it is slow moving. So make sure if you're taking I-40 westbound, you're prepared for that, because it's not flowing as well as it typically would. This is I-77 now, north of Uptown, out near Gilead, where we do have a lot of traffic still coming inbound as we're looking towards the Lake Norman area. This crash here, we were talking about at the toll lanes there on Hambright Road, that was just cleared, so no longer a problem. But this ongoing problem, this is going to be just on the west side of Lake Norman. Highway 16 specifically, you can see that yellow starting to worsen, meaning that those impacts are going to delay your morning commute. Guys.
Well, we are now less than 100 days out from this year's special July 4th holiday. Cities across the country planning big celebrations to mark this year's 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
According to Expedia, there's been a jump in people researching trips to areas home to famous sites and history. Cities like Billings, Montana, Lake Tahoe, which is in Nevada and California, and Asheville have surged in searches for their parks and natural beauty. Birmingham, Alabama draws attention for its pivotal role in the civil rights movement. Cherokee, Oklahoma, also a popular destination for visitors learning more about the Trail of Tears, where thousands of Native Americans were forced to relocate west. So, where are you guys going for the 4th of July? Any plans already?
I think I'll be here.
It's a little
far out.
Yeah,
I think
right.
anywhere by a lake is perfect for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
I know you don't. You're not a planner like that.
No, not a planner. Just
I feel like some of those, not all of them, some of them are a bit random.
I would agree.
Like, to celebrate, I would think maybe you want to go to like Independence Hall in Philly or maybe go to DC
or maybe just if you have kids, I don't know if you want to teach them a lesson, like you make it a learning experience perhaps. Maybe that's why you go there.
The Billings, Montana, I've been there, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's the first place I want to go for the 4th of July. And if you want to go to Montana, there's a lot of great places, but Billings is just
maybe
a little
Mount
odd.
Rushmore. Like go to. I get that. That makes sense.
No, that would make a lot more sense. Yeah, because like I lived in Montana as well. I've been to Billings. I'd rather go to Bozeman than that.
Or
but yeah,
even
like
Missoula.
I lived in West Yellowstone. Like those are the type of things. Old Faithful. Kind
Look
of
at
thing like
you.
that. Yeah, no. Chief Crazy Horse they also have. Yeah, no. So I agree that if you're thinking of Montana in that area, there are a lot more better locations. But you know what? Hey, go Billings.
Maybe they want to go to a place where there's not a ton of people.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Didn't have Montana on my bingo card for this much discussion today.
A lovely place, I'm sure.
For sure. All right, time for us to take a quick break, but not you. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Our Jane Monreal takes over at the top of the hour from our Impact studio. She's going to be listening in on the University City Public Safety Forum. Our Destiny Richards told you about that just a few moments ago. That's coming up starting at the top of the hour.
Who's ready for a great day? 67 degrees already. We are cranking up Mother Nature's thermostat. Get ready for the 80s once again, just like yesterday. Actually, near a record today. Probably already heard me say that on repeat, but 64 degrees right around Statesville, 64 in Hickory. Our highs, ooh, look at that. Beautiful blue sky. You can see over here in Concord, going to reach right around 84. So very close to where we were yesterday. And at times it's going to look more like this, and other times it'll look like that other image that you saw, no matter what, throughout the afternoon. On and off gusts to 20 miles per hour, blasting out of the south, feeling great, but a slight bit of moisture in the air. Day by day, we are getting a little bit cooler, though. Lower 80s for your Friday and Saturday. Friday and Saturday also come with a chance for an isolated scattered shower or thunderstorm during the morning into the afternoon, more so the afternoon. And Sunday, still looking like a solid bet for rain, especially either side of noon. So keep that in your Easter plans. All right, Majestic, another look at our morning commute.
Let's get to it. Good morning, everyone. Grab those sunglasses. You're going to want them this morning. I-85 here, mile marker 40. That's out near Graham. Work conditions, they're flowing all right. We do have some accidents to let you know about. This one is going to be out by Lake Norman, just reported about 10 minutes ago. I-77 northbound, really between I-485 and Catawba Ave, where slowdowns are building. Take it easy. Have a great day.